It is just an unbelievable honor to introduce our first guest, Dr. Gabriel Cousens, who is just an amazing being on the planet. If I may, I'm just going to give a short description of some of his amazingness. He is known worldwide as a liberated spiritual teacher and mystic. He is the founder of the Tree of Life Foundation in Patagonia, Arizona. Dr. Cousens uses the approaches of nutrition, naturopathy, Ayurveda, Native American medicine way, Chinese herbal medicine and theory, and homeopathy, blended with spiritual awareness in the healing of the body, mind, and spirit. He is the best-selling author of 13 books. And as a spiritual evolutionary visionary, he has committed his life to the world service of elevating planetary consciousness and establishing these healing and transformational programs on an international basis. Oh my goodness. Like, shalom, namaste, just.
Namaste. Okay. Om acid, Native American.
Yes. So grateful to sit with you today, Dr. Gabriel.
So good. It's good to be here with you too.
Wonderful. So we had talked a little bit beforehand through email about possibly you sharing some information about sacred relationships and life as eros.
Eros.
Yes.
So the key, and I want to get back to something that I teach, which is what the topic is too. For people to heal, they have to love themselves enough to want to heal themselves.
Yes.
That's a key teaching. And loving means really care about all of your life, every aspect of your life. And we know that people who live the longest do that. Pay attention to all the aspects.
Yes.
Now, a sacred relationship is, is also a holistic physician, but also a psychiatrist and family therapist for 48 years. It is a spiritual path. And when we enter into it, we face the issue of intimacy.
Yes.
Now, intimacy requires courage. Okay?
Yes.
And you have to have enough love for yourself and for the relationship to overcome your fear of the danger of intimacy, which is, oh, will I get hurt? There's all kinds of things people fear.
Yes.
So one of the most important things then in the sacred relationship is creating a safe space for the other.
Yeah.
It sounds very mundane, but it really makes a huge difference to feel safe in a relationship.
Yes.
And then you can be your full expression.
Oh my goodness. I love what you have shared. For you, what does it mean to create this safe space for your wife?
Part of it is, it's very hard in our world today to just be the expression of who you are.
Yes.
And to me, creating that safe space is supporting Shanti, her name's Shanti,
Yeah.
in a way that she feels okay to express whatever she's feeling.
Yeah.
And create whatever she needs to create. So you're creating a bubble around the sacred other. Because most of society is, you're not politically correct, you're going to get in trouble, you're going to this, that. And the other thing, but in relationship, in an intimate relationship, you can create safety, okay? And in safety, you can open your heart.
Yes, yes. And you just described that you are able to just hold space for your wife to be the authentic expression of herself, her full.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yes. And is this something that the both of you have just evolved into? Did you immediately start out with this orientation, or is this something you've learned to do?
Well, it's something you both learn to do, but also you kind of come with that, a little bit of that background.
Yeah.
But in relationship, when you articulate it as this is part of what love is about here, for me to be my full authentic self in front of you,
Yes.
okay, as witness, then that's articulated in a way that really is almost like a marriage vow.
Right, right. And does this have a foundation in, you would say, self-love, love for yourself, that I'm committed to being the authentic expression of myself, no matter what relationship I'm in?
Well, yes, except that the answer is absolutely yes. And in a relationship, that still has to be an agreement.
Yeah.
In other words, you may be committed, but if you unknowingly, or really everybody knows, you choose a partner who's going to be offended or hurt or upset by you being your authentic self, then that creates a lot of difficulty. So when you have this kind of discussion, I kind of recommend people at least know each other for a year through all 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. That all has to be discussed. How I need to be my authentic self. I don't mean to be difficult or mean or do things that are inappropriate, but being an authentic self is a little bit more refined than, just acting in a gross way. So
Yes.
I think that's the point I'm making.
Have there been certain expressions of your authentic self that have been particularly maybe intimidating to fully own in front of your amazing wife? Has that been a growth for you?
Not exactly. The reason I said that is that I've learned to live that since I've been a kid. You kind of know that, that you may be a little different, and you have a value on being your truth.
Yes.
And that may push your teacher's buttons.
Yes.
That may, it did, but I was aware of being that expression.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's just something that I knew that had to be the case.
So even as a child, you were able to preserve this authentic expression of yourself throughout the years.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, in 1943, I had TB. I was 1 year old. 1 year old. And when in those days, they had no medicine for it.
Yeah.
And it's usually a death sentence.
Oh.
So the love of my mother and the love of my father, that's had to be what pulled me, helped me heal. But then you kind of have a touch with the unknown, kind of a mystical touch.
Yeah. So
that is kind of what then you think differently. It's like, okay, I had grace to be alive.
Yeah.
Now I need to be expression God meant me to be on this planet. And it really doesn't matter what people think about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be that unique expression.
Yeah.
This is not, acting in really sick ways. I'm talking about just be the unique creative expression. Part of being able to love yourself, in my experience of working with people, is your love from your parents. That I saw people with good, healthy self-esteem, not egoic self-esteem or sociopathic or just healthy self-esteem, feeling good about themselves. That's kind of passed on from your parents, how they treated you.
Yes.
And it's kind of a subtle communication, but it's very real. So, when you feel really loved, then you have really good self-esteem. When you have really good self-esteem, you are not worried about what other people think when you're being your authentic self in different ways.
Yes.
That's the key here.
May I ask you what guidance you might give to those who maybe did not receive that type of love or support from their parents and may be struggling with their self-esteem and with their self-love?
Right. What I evolved a process called the 0 point. Okay, now let me explain what that is. Is that somewhere along the line, we take on a view of ourselves. We have thought forms of how we see ourselves.
Yes.
And it could be in the womb. So if your mother's feeling bad about whatever's going on, you're in the womb, you pick that up. Or past lives, or different things. So here's the key, is that it's very important to identify those thought forms and dissolve them.
Yes.
I call them like limiting thought forms in a way. They limit you from being your truth.
Yeah.
So one, you have your value of being a truth, right? But then you also have this limiting thought form of how your parents saw you or your grandparents saw you, or what happened in a past life. That these are all like a continuum, and those have to be cleared. So when I work with people, we clear those things. I mean, it may take 1 or 2 or 3 sessions. It's not like lifetimes of work, but it is lifetimes of work, but it's not like more than a few hours, to do the work. So that's the key, is that you have to clear those things, because a positive affirmation, which is good, but if it's overriding or trying to cover up a negative, it's harder to get through. So you have to go beneath to get the things that are blocking you from really loving yourself.
Yes, beautiful. I don't know if you'd resonate with this metaphor, but sometimes I like to use a metaphor of being the mindful gardener of our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. And as you said, being very aware of the thought forms that are informing our beliefs about ourselves. May I ask, what
and then
do
you have to clear them. You have to clear them. It's not enough to say, well, so I have a technique to do that.
What is your technique to clear these negative thought forms?
That's like a 3-day seminar. Okay.
Okay.
but it means to be able to fearlessly go back and create a clear enough mind you can identify it, and then it's the whole technique of how to dissolve it.
Yes.
And we can. The good news is we can dissolve it. That's the key.
Yeah. Okay? Yeah, absolutely. And then do you believe it's a bit of a continual process throughout our lifetime of continuing to dissolve these thought forms? Is there a point that one can reach where pretty much everything is cleared?
It's an interesting question. And there's a yes or no to it. So the yes part, yes, you clear enough that there's no real blockages. Can you clear every single lifetime you've had, hundreds of thousands of lifetimes? No. But do you have to? No. Okay. You don't have to. You just have to clear that it's not blocking you.
Yes.
Right.
And is there a way an individual can tune in to know, okay, I think I have cleared enough and it's not blocking me? How can one ascertain that?
Because you really start to love yourself.
Okay. That's the litmus test.
Yourself. Yeah. You love yourself from the inside. I call it non-causal love, non-causal peace, because you have peace.
Yes.
Non-causal contentment, non-causal oneness, non-causal compassion. And when those things naturally come up, you've cleared enough that now you're good.
There. You're somewhat good to go. What was the word you were using? Non-causal?
Non-causal. In other words, inherent within us is non-causal love. We love, we feel love, not because anyone said something nice to us or complimented us, but because we feel that essence within ourselves. So there is this non-causal love and non-causal peace. You're at peace because you're at peace, not because they settle a war in Ukraine or something.
Yes. Would another term be unconditional love for yourself? Is that the same idea?
It's like that, but there's no cause.
Yeah, I really like that phrase. There's no cause.
Right. It's like you just love yourself because you love yourself.
Because you exist. Yeah.
Yes.
That's so
and that
beautiful.
exists within all of us.
Yes. I'm curious about, I just wanted to share something real quick. I know myself and many of us have been socialized to think of our worth in terms of what we have achieved externally, or what we look like, or how much money we make, or all these external metrics.
Right.
And to me, at least, letting go of all of that. And as you said, coming back to yourself and making the biggest priority one's own peace. And as you said, one's own non-causal love for self as the ultimate goal of the incarnation.
Yeah. And the truth is, it's already there. All we're doing is uncovering it. So you begin to feel it. And that's how you know you've cleared all the negative blocks, when you just naturally feel it.
Yes, I love that you brought that up, that it's already there. It's almost a remembrance or a unraveling. And
it's a direct experience.
Yes.
See, this is not like, again, this is a good thing to tell yourself. No, it is who you are.
Yes.
It is the experience of the love for the sake of love for no other reason. It just exists within you.
Yes. And so what we're talking about, is this something that you have been in this state pretty much your whole life?
I would say, I wouldn't say yes to that. I would say that I had an advantage because my parents really loved me, and they had obviously put out a lot of energy for me to live.
Yeah.
Okay. So I always have a positive feedback,
Yeah.
But to really reach this, you have to kind of do a lot of work yourself. So I began meditating, and meditating takes you deeper than you're out of. See, non-causal was causal. My parents loved me. Okay, that was causal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure what just happened, but I'm not seeing.
I think mm-hmm.
Okay. So, but this is something a little different.
Yeah.
When you meditate, you tap into this deeper truth of who you are.
Yeah.
It doesn't require any affirmation from the outside. And that's when I began to feel that more steadily.
Yes.
That's not liberation, but it means that you're just having that more steadily. And that happened really in the early 30s, when I really began to meditate. I mean, I did meditate earlier without much spiritual direction, but I was working with a spiritual teacher then, and I was meditating 6 hours a day, actually.
Oh, wow.
And the part of it is what we call in the Eastern tradition in yoga, Kundalini.
Yes.
Okay. So that was awakened. And now after 7 years of being with him, he empowered me to do that for people, to awaken that energy. Now, when that energy is awakened, it creates a whole other level. Mm-hmm. And it's with that energy that then I began to feel that non-causal love and non-causal peace. So they have to transcend the mind.
Yes.
The quiet mind is good, but I'm talking transcending the mind. So when you're meditating a lot, you transcend the mind and you get to the truth of who you are.
Yes.
And that's natural. It's natural. It's not something you try.
Yes.
You're telling yourself.
For all these amazing people who are tuning in, would it be possible for you to share your practice of meditation, what you actually do when you meditate?
Sure. So remember, I'm more on kind of programming. I mean, if you meditate 6 hours a day for 7 years or longer, you hit a space. But
yeah.
So what I recommend to people is they sit quietly and repeat a name of God. Now, for me, this is the name that was at the end of a 21-day water fast in 1995. This name came to me.
How
Yod
do you pronounce that?
Yod on the in-breath, Hey on the out-breath, Wa on the in-breath, Hey on the out-breath. But also, because you need a little concentration for meditation, it's Yod from the base up to the heart, and then Hey out to the heart. Wa from the base to the third eye, and then Hey out to the heart, merging the heart and mind.
Yes.
So start with that heart-mind merging, and just keep repeating that until my mind is quiet, and then I'm in meditation. That's it.
Okay.
It's not complicated.
Yeah. It sounds like what you're saying is the main practice is, as you say, transcending the mind, coming into the heart with your connection to spirit.
But then you go beyond the body.
Okay.
So literally in, I think it was 1986, I had a hernia operation without anesthetic.
Oh,
How do you do that? Because you could reach different levels where the senses disappear, where the body disappears.
Yeah.
So I was testing myself. I thought, okay, I'll do something different. That's kind of how I work, kind of spontaneously. And I had to convince the doctors, just let me do.
Oh my goodness. So you chose to have this operation without anesthesia to practice this. Did you leave? Wow. Did you leave your body? Your consciousness left your body, or?
No. You just go so deep that there's levels in yoga. There are levels of consciousness.
Yeah.
This is called pratyahara, where you're not connected to your senses anymore.
Wow.
So once you hit that place in the 8 levels, that's level 5, you don't feel any pain in your body.
Wow.
So I tested it to see if it was really true. You want to challenge yourself, okay? So that's what I did. And then I've done it again. And I do it I never have any anesthetic with dentist or anything like that.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And you've reached this ability through these years of meditation, of going so deep.
Yeah.
Wow. That is really, really amazing.
It does make life different.
Yeah.
I've had another operation without anesthetic too, a little bit later. But so basically for meditation, you have what we call mantra. This is the name of God that Moses received from the burning bush.
Yeah.
3,000 years old, okay? And there's mantras initially that I was using that were, again, that level of wholeness. And you repeat them, and it focuses your mind, and then you go beyond your mind.
Yes. And for the listeners tuning in, who may hear, okay, 6 hours of meditation a day for 7 years, I'm not sure that's possible right now, maybe in my schedule, is what would be, say, a minimum amount of time of meditation?
I understand what you're saying. So my experience in where people are most successful is twice a day. I think at least a half hour twice a day. I right now am meditating an hour twice a day. It's just like my food.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
because that's where the cosmic energy comes. It brings the cosmic energy in.
Yeah.
And I just really eat one meal a day. I just have one.
Okay. So,
Because I'm living off the cosmic energy.
Okay. Yes. So like life force energies
Right.
through you, and you don't need to eat more than one meal a day. And just to get a little more specific, do you, for instance, always close your eyes when you meditate?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to go inside. You sit in a
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's just amazing that you've had surgery without anesthesia because of your ability to go so deep within twice. Wow. That I haven't heard of that. That seems like just an amazing superpower
it's not something I practice. It's just like, okay, let's see how deep are you testing myself.
Yes.
Yes. It's not a yogic trick. It's like, okay, I'm going to try this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. In addition to your beautiful meditation practice and eating just one meal a day, are there any other practices that are really foundational for you in your daily life?
Yes. I try to do what we call yoga asana.
Yes.
Like 5 to 6 days a week. And basically what at the age of 79, okay?
Oh my goodness, you don't look 79 at all.
I understand. I am making a message, okay, which is we can get stronger and more flexible.
Yes.
And more enduring with age.
Yes.
And hopefully more wise. Okay. The wisdom part is important, okay? Okay, but the point I'm making is it takes a little work.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that. I mean, I've reached 2,000 push-ups at one time. You know,
in one time doing 2,000 push-ups?
Non-stop.
Wow.
But I didn't start there. When I was 20, I could do 70 push-ups. You see?
Yes.
Never a goal in my life, but I've just been guided to, okay, let's do that. And 900 sit-ups. But it's something that just kind of unfolds. It's not a goal. It's just kind of guidance.
So this programming that most of us receive in our society, that as we age, we will become weaker, feeble.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is just programming.
Not as alive.
Yes.
And there's an old saying, when people are at a certain age, they say, gee, I wish when I was 16, I had the wisdom I had now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So all that's there now, and we can do it. That's a little bit the message I'm giving now at this age. That's how I would kind of a key message. We do not have to get contracted with age. I also do breathing exercises in yoga we call pranayama.
Yes.
And usually, if you aren't doing some breathing exercises, by the time you're 70, your breathing capacity is about half as much.
Okay.
Of course, you need oxygen. That is what makes everything work, including your brain. So it's like, you need oxygen. You need to be flexible. And, I don't ever work really with weights, but, with rubber bands and things like that. But
yes,
I don't need, I'm not talking about a lot. I'm talking less than an hour a day. And then my wife and I will walk also.
Yeah.
Most days. So
for you, what are the benefits you find from your breathing practice, the pranayama?
Well, the most important thing is it keeps my lungs open and expanded.
Yeah.
Now, can you get a little higher with it? Yes, but that doesn't make much difference for me because of the meditation or anything else. I think the breath is a prana, gives life force. So it increases the sense of increased life force.
Okay.
It's probably the most accurate way to talk about it. you feel refreshed with that.
Can we think of our breath as spirit coming through us? Is that a way to think of it?
The answer is yeah. Everything's not straightforward.
Yeah.
So we have in the Kabbalistic system, we have 5 levels of soul. We have nefesh, physical body, soul; ruach, breath; and then individual soul, neshama, and oversoul, which is the soul connects you to everybody, haya, and then we have yehida, okay, which is directed to God. So at the level of ruach, breath, we're activating that, and therefore empowering really all our levels of soul to be more in touch. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. You know, a lot of people feel very energized with it. I feel energized. The biggest thing is there's lung capacity you want to maintain. So it's kind of maintenance, and you get a good feeling. It's always nice.
Yeah. So with all of these beautiful practices that you're sharing, the meditation, your asana yoga, the breathing exercises, the walking, do these all bring a lot of joy to your being as well as
Right.
just, yeah.
It's a good question. And first, I don't like to call them practices.
Okay.
I'm not practicing.
Yeah, okay. That has a heavier feeling to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a way of life.
Yes.
That leads to liberation and naturally gives you spiritual joy.
Yes.
It's natural. It's just what happens.
Yes. You don't have to try to feel a certain way. You live in this way of being, as you said, and you're connecting with yourself and with source.
Right. In all 5 levels of your soul. It is just a natural way of being.
Yes. Yes.
There's no trick here, you know?
Why do you think our society has gotten so far from this natural way of being?
I'm not really sure. I'll tell you, it's so much fun to live this way. It is really fun. Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just a turn on. That's the eros that we talked about.
Yes. Okay? What does eros mean?
Well, mostly people think about it as sexuality.
Right.
But eros is living ecstatically in all that you do. So it's living turned on to life.
Yes.
So in every moment, there's eros happening. Not just a sexual turn on.
Yes. Being turned on through just being alive and how you're...
because everything's working.
Yes.
And you feel it because all 5 soul levels are activated and the flow of the cosmos is coming through you.
Yes.
All the time. And so that's an erotic way of living that kind of takes, in a sense, our world, getting back to the question you asked, okay?
Yeah.
Eros has been exiled to sexuality.
Right.
Okay, but going back to the world that I'm living in, the world is an erotic experience of just the joy of spiritual joy of life.
Yes.
That you get what I'm saying. It's really important to make that distinction, rather than thinking, and that's why people are doing so many, let's say, impure sexual things, trying to get an experience. It's like, no, just turn over here. Here it is, all the time. Yeah. So why do I think it happened? I think the world goes through different phases. And I think we're looking at the night before the dawn.
Yeah.
Where people have really lost touch with the truth of who they are. Yeah. And the whole input of the news and this and that is all taking people away from the truth.
Yeah.
And so we're not living in a society that supports being the truth of who you are.
Right.
eros, the spiritual joy of who you are.
Yeah.
It's still cutting off the top of your head a little bit.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, good. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so to me, eros is a way of life, and that's what I'm really talking about.
Yes.
It's fun. I'm not working at it. It's what I like to do.
Right. This phrase is so beautiful. Living ecstatically in all that you do. Just
Right.
what a beautiful way of life. Just amazing. I'm sort of trying to put it into my own conceptualization. I think I might have termed this being in alignment, living from my heart, really tuning into the guidance and letting go of what other people might think of me or what my thinking mind might have thought I was to do with my life, but just coming back to myself and my own joy, living from my own joy and inspiration.
Right. Your internal, that non-causal joy, that's inherently you. It's you. Nothing to think of.
Right. As we all lived as children before the socialization really was absorbed. It feels like a lot of this journey, if you've come out of it, I know I was really out of my joy for many decades of my life, but if you've come out of it, to come back to, in a way, your childlike innocence and joy and present and being present in the moment and not in the future, not in the past so much.
I call it the eternal presence.
Yes.
Eternal presence. It just going on, doesn't matter. Past, present, future are one.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. And do you sense that as more and more of us hopefully come back to this inner presence, joy, ecstatic living, that this is what will be the transformation of our planet?
Yes, it's what's needed. I mean, we're going to get some other levels of help, but it's what's needed.
Yeah.
And the more of us who turn on to this, so I'm sharing with you. It's like, well, you're fun to share with, don't misunderstand, but it's outreaching to share a message.
Yeah.
And so the more that gets shared, the more programs like yours are happening, the more people get encouraged to say, well, hey, that sounds good. Let me do that.
Yes. So we're sharing the joy, spreading the word of coming home to oneself.
Right. And then people need to move into that lifestyle.
Yes. For you and the people that you work with, what do you think are some of the biggest fears or blockages that people have around what we're talking about? Is there sometimes fear around living like this?
There's a fear of being different.
Yeah.
There's a fear of being ostracized,
Yeah.
And what I learned at an early age is how to bridge it. How to bridge so people feel okay around you.
Yeah.
But no compromise.
Yeah.
Because you're still loving yourself enough to want to heal yourself and to be in that high way of being. A lot of people get very discouraged. They get, negative feedback from their society, from their family. Don't be different, just fit in, and it's a lot to overcome. And then when you get into that downward cycle, it's hard to turn it around.
Yes.
And part of what we're seeing today in the world is that so many people are out of touch with the deep truth and joyful truth of who we are, that they do things to get a hit in the moment.
Yes.
But it fades. That's where the dark side is doomed to lose because it's not sustaining.
Yes. I like this phrase. I sometimes use this with the people I work with. As you just said, that our external society can seem to be this machine to help us numb out or distract us from the truth of who we are. and our authentic expression, whether it be taking certain drugs or promiscuous sex or over shopping, all these things that can just be a hit of energy. And then I like to ask the question, okay, so you do that, and then what? Then what? How has that helped you? And what are you going to do now?
That's why we have these, kind of pornographic excesses.
Yes. Yes. These, as you said, these hits of energy that are very temporary, and not really life-giving in the end.
That's just,
yeah.
It doesn't mean we don't do different things. I immediately noticed your earrings are feathers.
Yeah.
Okay? So that made me think about Native American.
Yes.
Okay? So I'm a Native American sun dancer and eagle dancer.
Oh, wow. What does that mean? That sounds amazing.
So with Lakota, what it means is for 4 days you go without food and water. And
by chance.
Hours.
Yeah, he's not a lot.
And then you're dancing around a certain pole, like a tree. And then at some point, they put these pegs through your chest and you pull back and break away from the tree. Okay. So that is, it's a way, and men and women do this. So women do it, men do it here, women do it there, on the side. And that is powerful. And then I'm an eagle dancer, which means you spend the 4 days with the hooks in your chest for 4 days. Now, that sounds bad, but one of my friends who was there, he saw me smiling. He said, you know what? I know you're enjoying this, aren't you? And the answer is yes. I was having a good time. Why? Because you're sacrificing for the world.
Yeah.
That's the basis of that. And it's a physical challenge.
Yeah.
But it's a tremendous spiritual thing. You're there. You don't leave the circle for 24 hours, for 4 days.
Yeah.
You sleep on the ground while you're hooked to I like the challenge, but there's something about giving. See, for the Native Americans, it's a way of giving to society. It's sacrifice to uplift and protect the tribe.
Oh, so beautiful.
So he said, I'm having a good time. And he said, you're having a good time, aren't you? I said, yeah, I am.
Is there any information for our listeners of how they could do this amazing, what did you call it? The dance of life?
Well, Sundance. Yeah. Well, you have to have a connection with Native American.
Okay.
Most of the people doing it are Native American.
Yeah.
And so they have to find someone who would accept them.
Yeah.
To do something like that.
Yeah.
It's something, mostly we did Nevada. It's more kind of a Native American on the reservations or on the different places where you do that. But they have to make a connection and kind of you have to spend years of preparation and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it sounds like an amazing experience.
It's 4 years this, and then you 4 years. But I'm saying it's the idea of the positive of sacrificing for the society.
Yes. Yes.
So that's
beautiful. With your Tree of Life Foundation, do you have activities or for people to come in and do any of these sorts of things?
So what life has changed with all the lockdowns and everything. Okay?
Yeah.
Plus I moved to Israel.
Right.
First of all, Tree of Life Foundation has about 112 programs, mostly around diabetes prevention, because I've worked out a way to treat diabetes naturally. I have a book called, I don't know what it is. There is a Cure for Diabetes. Okay.
Yes.
And so I've taken it to Africa. I've taken it with Native American groups. Okay. So getting back to, so the books kind of give information. I have a regular program, Alive and Liberated with Dr. Gabriel, on Thursdays.
Okay.
And that is from in Israel. Well, the way to do it is just go to my website. Then they can figure out their time zone.
Yes.
But it's Thursday evening my time. It's called treeoflife.mm.co or just drcousens.com.
Okay. These are.
So we have that. I also have a regular 1 hour program on spiritual nutrition.
Oh.
So we have spiritual nutrition, and then we have kind of a more spiritual kind of teachings. And then I also have lots of other programs, and we have a spiritual fast, which we're doing in August 20th. Usually it's in person, but given everything that's going on, it's over the internet, that we've done 2 over the internet now. So we have that. We have that 0-point course I talked about to teach people how to clear their own. I'm more interested in people being independent. Yeah. So in 3-4 days, you can kind of get how to clear your own negative blocking thought forms.
Amazing.
And we also have different conscious eating. We haven't quite put that up online yet. It's stuff we used to teach at the Tree of Life in Arizona.
Yeah.
People would come, but now things I say are more complicated.
Yes.
So we have spiritual fasts, when people meditate, they get the Kundalini activated, different things happen like that. It can be done over the internet, which was a surprise to me. And to tell you the truth, but very good. So we do that on Thursdays, and then I have programs in Brazil, and I have programs in different places that we're just teaching, working and giving the energy, because the energy is very important.
Yes. And do you foresee in the future that you might have some in-person events eventually?
Yeah, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, but international travel needs to be more steadily open.
Yeah.
It's not quite there. Maybe in a year, I think a lot of this darkness will clear.
Yes.
Or begin to clear, and then we can have some steadiness with it. So that's kind of what is. This is really temporary to do it over the internet, in that way.
Right.
And then, I've worked in 5 African countries where we have programs. Okay. Wow. And now in Cameroon, we now have over 50 organic farms. So we can feed the people and so forth. We fund it, and then it gets going, and then they can pay for themselves.
Yeah.
We have Cameroon and Nigeria, southern Nigeria, different groups where we started, programs for people, particularly, as I say, diabetes prevention and organic kind of farming, feeding the people. Yes. So all those are going on. And then there's the personal programs like the 0 point and stuff. So as soon as possible, that we'll want to be doing it like we were doing at the Tree of Life Center in Arizona.
Well, yeah. I would love to come to one of your in-person events. You are just so amazing, just on every level of life, of how to eat, how to be in life, how to come back to yourself. Just you just share the whole experience, really, of how to live ecstatically in this human vessel.
Thanks for the feedback. I'll let you know.
Yes, please let me know. I'll travel anywhere in the world to come to one of your events.
What I do is I stack them, like we do the spiritual fast, which is 7 days.
Yes.
and then take a day break, and then we do the 0 point. So when people are traveling, they get the 2 courses, and then in turn we'll add the conscious eating.
Yes.
So it's like
Amazing.
people can stay for 2 weeks and get a big download.
Yes, exactly.
We're always meditating, and in the spiritual fastings, we're meditating twice a day.
Yes.
And giving what we call Shakti Pot or honey, how the awakening the energy.
Yes.
And it's also true in that there's always the yoga asana, that my wife teaches, and it's like I can teach it, but I'd rather she teach it, for that. And that's so it will be like a series, so people can come and do that.
Yes, it sounds absolutely magical, and I'm sure extremely activating, and just letting go so much that was not serving one. And
Right.
it sounds magical. I really look forward to doing one of your. Yeah. Dr. Gabriel, I'm just the biggest fan. I could start to cry. Your presence and all of your gifts to the world are just amazing. Just thank you so much for being on this planet and sharing your way of life and your ecstatic way of life. It's so inspirational. It's just so beautiful.
Well, thank you for having your program and appreciating it. I do appreciate it. And I bless all the listeners that were able to turn on to that erotic way of living as a full human being.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you for your blessing. So every blessing to you and your family and your people and your work. And just, I'm sure you have the full support of everyone who's been privileged to listen to what you've shared today. And we're just so grateful. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope to meet you in person and come to one of your amazing events in the future.
We'll keep it in mind. Seriously, we'll keep it in mind.
Yes. Please let me know. And I'd love to stay in touch. It's been just an absolute honor.
Good. If you want me back again, I'm happy to. I'm just trying to get it out to as many people as possible.
Oh, wonderful. Yes. I think as I shared with you, I have a radio a show on the Transformation Network that I'd love to have you live on that as well. If that would be resonant for you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. And it's just amazing because you are the first guest on this we have 28 speakers over the next 4 days. So to start off with you and your light and wisdom has just been the biggest blessing. So we're just so grateful.
Thank you for having me, and may you be blessed in all that you do, because you are also bringing that light to the world, and I appreciate that. I really do.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Every blessing to you. Namaste. Shanti, Shanti. So much love to you, Dr. Gabriel Cousens.
Okay. Peace be with you.
Peace be with you. And I hope it's okay. I just want to say I love you, and I love everyone who's
It's okay. I understood in the right way. You have to be careful about those things these days. Right?
I know, right? I always just want to say I love you to everyone. But yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Understood in the right way.
Yes.
And my heart connection with you is good, and I have that love for you too.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Heart to heart. So thank you so much, everyone who has joined in. This was just such an honor and a privilege to be with Dr. Gabriel Cousens. Oh my goodness, amazing. I hope you'll all check out more of his work, and maybe we'll see you in person with him in the future. His wisdom, his light, his teachings, his generosity are just astounding.